Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Britney Nicole and I film videos every week specifically for content creators and entrepreneurs to help them boss up, level up, and reach their dreams. We are here every week, 2 videos a week, one being like a vlog style, the other one being like a sit down talk like I'm doing right now. But all videos are generated to help you reach your goals, whether that is content creation, maximizing your revenue streams, or when you're ready to quit your full-time corporate job. Yes, you've guessed it, this video this week is all about my journey to entrepreneurship and why I decided to quit my full-time corporate job after working, I think, 3+ years full-time here in New York City. Before we officially get into this video, I do want to make a few disclaimers. Please do not use my personal journey, and the way that I've done things and feel like you have to do things that way. Everyone's journey is specific to them. Everyone's journey is personal, especially when it comes to taking the leap and working for yourself and figuring out that it's time for you to quit your full-time job and really just become your own boss. All of those things are personal decisions, so please don't take this video and think that you have to do things the way that I've done them. I've taken a lot of time to think about my decision, actually months, and you'll see in the video. And it's really been, a journey where I've had to grow into the decision that I've made. If you are thinking about quitting your full-time job, if you're thinking about becoming your own boss, really ask yourself some deep personal questions as to, like why you want to leave. What part of your life are you not feeling fulfilled in, and is this triggering why you now want to leave the 9-to-5 life to work for yourself? There are a few questions that you can ask yourself that we will get into by the end of this video, but I of course want to start off this video by talking about my personal journey and how it has led me to where I am now. If you are an OG follower of mine, then you know that I moved to New York about 4 years ago. It will be 4 years this upcoming 4th of July. But I moved to New York City about 4 years ago from Chicago. When I did live in Chicago, I was just finishing up my master's in business and entrepreneurship program at Columbia Chicago. And that summer, so I graduated Columbia Chicago in May of 2016. I then moved to New York in July of 2016, and then I began to work my first full-time job at an appliance e-commerce company in Brooklyn as a marketing coordinator. I was at that company for about, I would want to say 7 to 8 months, but into it I realized that I was doing what I like to do. I wasn't in the industry that was for me. My main focus has always been anything related to beauty or fashion, so I knew that I had to make it in one of those industries, and it just so happened that a job opening came up on LinkedIn, I think, and it ended up being for a beauty organization in New York. And so I was like, wow, this is calling my name. It was a marketing assistant position, so it was a step down from the level that I was originally at, a marketing coordinator. But I said if this was going to be my first stop into beauty, then why not take it? And so I did. I ended up working for the organization for 2 years. I was a marketing assistant for about a year, and then I leveled up and went into marketing manager role. And so I made like a huge leap just because of during that 2-year time frame, I worked so hard. I truly worked my butt off, guys. I really just honed in on all of my skill sets regarding marketing and social media, and that is how I was able to kind of like grow so quickly in that role, because I was proving myself. I was one of the only people on our team. Our team was very lean, and I was really just exalting all of my energy to make sure that I was being seen, to make sure my work was being seen, and to make sure that I was really just helping the organization grow in the best way that I could. But ultimately, with that job, I was starting to feel a little bit unfulfilled, a little bit overworked, honestly, and just ready for a fresh start. And at that point in my life, I want to say that was 2019. At that point in my life, last year, in I want to say May, I was just like, I'm ready to, not only just work in the beauty industry, but I want to work in-house. So if you hear someone say, I want to work in-house, that means they want to actually work for a specific brand or company. So, if I am at a PR agency and I say that I want to work in-house, that means that I want to work in-house for a specific brand instead of having different brands as clients, if that makes sense. So because I had been working at a beauty organization, I finally realized that it was time for me to take the leap and want to work in-house for a brand, which led to my job that I got in June of 2019 as a assistant social media manager for 2 beauty brands, one on the skincare side, the other one on the color cosmetics side. I was there, and then the company had like a little bit of transition, but ultimately I was really excited to do social media. This was the first job that I had ever had where I was truly just focused on social media and creating content and working with influencers and all of that good stuff. So I really learned a lot in that role, and I learned, not only how to create like a perfectly curated grid, because, I learned that it was more than that for brands. It was more like, how do I pivot this messaging to make a consumer want to buy the product? Am I thinking about my consumers first? Am I thinking about the followers first and the type of content that they want to see? What type of strategies am I developing to make sure that we're continuously growing on our social platforms, and in what ways could we be innovative? And so in doing that for the social media, and then also translating that into the influencer marketing campaigns that we held, it was a role that I feel like was really becoming my own, right? So I was really honing in on the social media, the influencer partnerships, the brand partnerships, even when we would partner with different like-minded brands for the giveaways and things like that. But in the back of my mind, I was just like, man, is this something that I want to continue to do? Is this something that I feel like I'm being fulfilled? There were definitely some fun aspects to my job for sure. Like, I definitely loved some of the people that I work with and just like the overall opportunity. But I just kept having like this burning feeling inside of me, like I wanted more. And I have felt this burning feeling before. So I felt it at the last job that I was at the beauty organization, where I felt like, okay, if I just did this, if I just focused on social media, or if I just went in-house for a beauty brand, I would feel more secure in what I was doing. But it's always that mind trick, right? It's always, if I was just doing more of this, or if I just had more of this, then I would feel X, then I would feel happy, then I would feel successful, then I would feel accomplished. But really, when you sit back and you really just think about yourself and what you want out of life, you tend to realize that sometimes when you're in a position where your back's against the wall and you just feel like nothing you do is fulfilling you at that moment, then that's when you know it's time to take the leap. And that's when you know that, maybe this job or that job was just not the right fit for you. And maybe it's time for you to take the leap into being your own boss. I was at my job in that role for a year. I made a year just a week ago, but there's something very important and vital to this story that I do want to touch on. Before I even took the leap to quit my full-time job and to work for myself, I manifested this, okay? Like, I actually put into words and put it out into the universe that this was going to happen for me before my 28th birthday. Yes, I manifested it. And I know what you're thinking. Brittany, don't make this into a hippie manifestation video. But no, guys, I'm so serious. You do not understand how powerful your words are and how much power there is when you put those words together and actually formulate them into the universe and let people hold you accountable. So I'm gonna pop a tweet here, but this tweet basically I put up in September of 2019, and I manifested that I would be a full-time entrepreneur before my 28th birthday. Yes, I did that. And 9 months later, I decided to quit my full-time job and do just that. When I felt that feeling come over me that I knew this was the right time. I knew there was no better time than right now to just go after it, take the leap of faith, and just go full throttle into becoming my own boss. I didn't even reference that tweet at first. I actually had just forgotten that I even put that out into the universe. I had forgotten that those were my own words a few months ago. It was just in that moment, the day of my birthday and the week of my birthday. In that moment, I was just like feeling that it was time for me to let go of the 9 to 5 life and just gravitate and put my energy into being my own boss and working on the brands that I have cultivated all these years. It was just time for me to take that leap. I took the leap that week of my birthday, and I just felt a sense of relief, if that makes sense. I felt finally that I was diving into my passion. I felt finally I was investing in myself. I felt finally I am taking another risk. So, the first big risk that I had taken in my adult life was moving to New York 4 years ago. And 4 years later, I'm taking another risk and quitting my full-time job to work for myself, to explore other opportunities out there, to just figure out what can Britney do? What can Britney do for herself that is going to build a legacy, that is going to cultivate change, that is going to really challenge her? And those are some of the questions that you have to think when you are thinking about making this pivotal change in your life. You know, is what I'm doing aligning with the vision that I see for myself 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line? Think about where you want to be in 5 or 10 years, and think about if where you are currently is aligning with that direction to help you go on that trajectory of being the best version of yourself. And honestly, if it's not, then that's how you know that you've outgrown your current situation and that it's time for you to move on. Another thing to think about is, do you want your boss's job? This is something that I think about so often. I feel like I've been thinking about that since I first entered my full-time life, my full-time career. I'm always thinking, like, if tomorrow happened and someone came up to me and said, I want to offer you your boss's job, what would I say? And if the answer is no, then that's how you know that it's time for you to move on. And it's nothing against your boss's job. Your boss's job might be the coolest job out there. You know, there might be someone else out there who would love to have your boss's job. But if you do not want your boss's job and you're kind of like on that trajectory to go down that path and you just don't want to go down there, then that's how you know that you've outgrown the situation, and that's how you know that it's time for you to move on. Another question that you should ask yourself is, what would I do for free? Would I do this job for free? And I felt like I wouldn't do the job for free unless I was doing it under my own circumstances. So, of course, I love to help content creators and I love to help entrepreneurs and small businesses, you know, grow their social media strategy, content creation, and just overall brand presence, and also helping them cultivate influencer partnerships and things like that. But I realized that I wanted to do it under my own umbrella. I wanted to be able to be more hands-on and to be the voice of that direction. And, you know, I felt like that was just something that I would not have been able to do, not just for the company that I was at, but just in general, because I would not have been the founder of that company. I would not have been the creator of those operational procedures. Like, I just would not have been at the forefront of those conversations. And I realized that I wanted to be at the forefront of those conversations. And for me to be at the forefront of conversations the way that I would like to, I had to create my own path. I had to foster my own brand. I had to take that leap and just really just hone in on what it was that I wanted to do. And sometimes you have to be honest with yourself and have these honest conversations. that is how I got to where I am now. I know a lot of you guys are asking questions about, maybe you're thinking, what is she going to do next? What is she doing next? I'm actually going to do a whole series about this topic. I feel like it's so taboo on the internet. I feel like people feel so scared to talk about, even daydreaming about quitting their full-time job because of the older generation just saying, like, you don't do that, and you don't quit a job that's treating you well. But there are some things that I feel like we can talk about, and I just want to further invest in this series and just let you know some of the tips and tricks that helped me come to these conclusions. Some of the things that I did leading up, as far as like the savings, being very strong in like your savings, being very strong in like your morning routines, just being very strong and active in your habits and making sure that you're cultivating good habits, great habits that will help you transition into your new journey. So yes, we are going to talk about all of those things, but I first just wanted to make a video, give you the updates, give you the news, spill the tea, that I am officially a full-time entrepreneur and working for myself. And I'm so proud to say that out loud. It feels so weird to say that out loud, especially in front of all of you guys, because I've been keeping it in for so long. I've been keeping this in, that I even wanted to do this for so long. Like maybe like a few people knew what I wanted out of my life, but now to be able to share this on the interwebs, it just feels very crazy. And I'm just so thankful to have a supportive community to uplift me and just let me know all the time that I'm on the right track. And I really highly recommend that if you do not have a community like that, that you find your tribe, you find your community. I actually just built a community for the Boss Up called Strictly Boss, and it is a private Facebook group where we uplift and share resources. And I just want to challenge, aspiring creators, aspiring entrepreneur, aspiring business owners, that you can do this, you can live the life that you want. All it takes is discipline. It takes knowing yourself, knowing your worth, and it takes instilling and investing in yourself to cultivate good habits that could lead you into the next journey that you have, the next career path, catapult you in ways that you would never have thought before. So I'm really excited to be able to share more of this journey with you now that this is out in the open. I can talk freely about what I'm doing next. So stay tuned for the next video, guys. If you want to know more about this journey, please leave a comment below, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.